Welcome back, lads, to another daily race video. This week's it's Daily Race B, the Red Bull Ring, and we're in the Porsche rsr. Yeah, we chose an MR car. Not really used to driving the FR cars. I did try the Viper and the Aston Martin. Those cars didn't come to me. I felt the Porsche was a much better on traction around here. Felt like a bit of an easier car to drive, all in all. We did fiddle around with the brake balance quite a fair bit. I went all the way from rear 3 to front 3. This particular lap is on front 3. I was just really struggling with getting the rear end of the car to rotate the way that I wanted it to. It seems to be that's where all the time is. There's a few stab on the brake sections and get the rear end real loose and then just try and push the car out of there. But without further ado, let's jump on and make the short run down to turn 1. So braking just as the 100 board goes into the roof, all the white line on the left hand side. Staying in 4th for this straight, down to 3rd, 1st, then 2nd, sort of rolling over the apex there. The earlier you can get to wide open throttle, the higher your max will be down this straight. So yeah, really holding out the gears in this car. So we're shifting about 198 kilometers per hour, and then holding 4th as well. So it's another long threshold section. We're braking just as this shadow where everyone else has been braking, just as that goes under the bonnet there. So you can see the 100 board there on the left hand side, angling the car towards the outside of the road, down into 2nd, waiting for 1st, a little bit of a roll over the apex, try not to take that sausage on the inside, and once again, the earlier you can get wide open throttle, the better. It is pretty tricky trying to get traction out of there. No real tricks apart from cracking that throttle real early. Make sure, pretty much as you go past that sausage, make sure the throttle's open, and then as fast as slow as possible we're trying to open that white throttle pedal. So braking here, bit of a hard one this, just before that dark patch next to the 100 sign. Once again holding 4th, down into 3rd, and we will see one just before we get to the apex here. Crack that throttle right on the apex, and it's really trying to get as much acceleration and roll off that corner. It's quite difficult. Once again, it's about getting the rear end swung around and pointing the car off the corner. Up into 4th, moving over to the right hand side of the road, just a quick punch on the brake, down to 3rd, down to 2nd, rolling the car back to the apex here, open the throttle, and then just start pushing the car out. You can use plenty of curb here on the exit. A very similar technique. We're just going to drop one gear, slide it in, open the throttle as we slide over to the apex, and wide open on the exit. Pretty long wide open section here. We can use a little bit more curb than that. I'm very cautious though, there is a track penalty there if you run wide. It does make it a bit nerve-wracking trying to get out of there. So around the 100 board here we're going to have a little bit of a stab on the brake. Once again, that's sort of trying to slide the rear around. Down into 2nd for this last corner, really difficult. So a lot of those are just quick stabs. You'll see the little red marker come up for just the splittest of seconds as we punch that brake really hard. We're trying to remove all the weight off the rear axle so it starts to swing for us. There, once again, you can see in chase view, always angling to the outside of the corner, cracking over 50% throttle as we roll past that sausage on the inside there. To make sure you don't bag it up on the exit. If your throttle is too closed, when you go to wide open throttle, you'll just bag it up all of a sudden. You won't get any drive off the corner. So once again, angling to the outside of the corner here, making that diagonal line, and really trying to open up this corner. You crack the throttle just before the sausage, and really start to squeeze down that throttle, trying to get the car rolling forward. And then a nice little short shift up into 2nd. We sort of hit the limiter there. Not ideal. Holding 4th is the secret. So it looks like we're braking about the 120 meter mark here. Once again, angling to the outside of the road. Down into second as we turn in, down to first, right down onto the apex. Jam a bit of wide open throttle in first, then pick up second, nice and early. Once again, angling to the outside of the road, punch on the brake, let the car roll down to the apex, then pick up the throttle on the way out. It's a very similar technique for here. Sort of hit the brakes and throw it in there. Don't know how technical throw it in there is, but seems to be how this Porsche needs to just swing into these corners. A little bit of a pendulum. Stab on the brake. So we've got the steering wheel up in the top right hand corner. Sort of use that as the reference of what we're doing. Sort of jabbing on the brake and a little yank on the steering wheel at the same time. That sort of just releases the rear a little bit. Helps us raise those apex speeds just a touch. Back into full speed mode. We really were out of form here. I don't remember time attacking Red Bull Ring for about a year. I think it was about December last year was the last time I remember even having a go at this circuit that wasn't Group 4 Red Bull short. So a fair bit of out of form. Just, you do need a little bit of wheel spin so the car is pushing forward, but not so much that you need to dial in opposite lock. So it's really a balance of the throttle there. So we sort of understeer wide there. Really deceiving how much speed you can actually carry on that second left-hander. So more like the 50 board. I thought it was the 100 board. Make sure the right-hand tyres are going over the curb. And jumping these sausages here, sort of feels like we touch them, but we must just miss them ever so slightly. As we jump on board for the obligatory bumper cam run. No simcators to promo this week. Everything's packed up as houses are getting moved. But we'll hopefully kick that back off in January, February time. Nordschleifer is race C this week. That's probably where you'll find me. I'll try and squeeze out a couple of streams. But yeah, good luck. Other cars are the Viper and I was going to say Vanquish, but I think it's the Vantage. Are worth a try if you're into your sort of FR style cars. This clip here, a little bit for the MR guys that like to have their engines over the rear axle or as near to it as possible. Well, best of luck chasing those tenths, fellas, and I will catch you all next week.